Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 37th verse of the 14th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yat pada shushrushana mukhya karmana satyadayo dvyashta sahasra yoshitaha nirjitya sankhye tridashams tad ashisho haranti vajrayudha vallabho chitaha. The meaning of this verse is, simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens at Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of the thunderbolts. So, this verse wonderfully describes, this is a verse spoken by Yudhishthira. He is describing the glory and the opulence Krishna exhibited in Dwaraka with his 16,108 queens. Now, Krishna is not in need of service, but the queens, they rendered loving devotional service to Krishna unconditionally. Therefore, they were eligible, they were able to actually get the things to enjoy which are prerogatives of the wives of Indra, the king of heaven. Heavenly opulence was available on this earth. Generally, earthly beings cannot enjoy heavenly opulence unless they go to elevate themselves to heaven. Because heavenly enjoyment is millions of times better than the pleasures available on the earth. So, the queens of Dwaraka enjoyed heavenly opulence and more. Not only heavenly opulence, but even more. But they were able to enjoy that because they induced the Supreme Lord Krishna to conquer the demigods. Again, these are pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But still, Prabhupada explains that Satyabhama is particularly mentioned as one of the principal queens of Krishna. Krishna had 16,108 queens in Dwaraka, out of which 8 are important. And among these 8, the 2 most important are Satyabhama and Rukmini. And among Satyabhama and Rukmini, Rukmini is the chief. So, Satyabhama is particularly mentioned here in this verse. Satyadayo Dvi Ashta Sahasra Yoshitaha. 16,000 queens. Precise number is 16,108. So Satyabhama is described by Srila Prabhupada, one of the principal queens of Lord Sri Krishna at Dwaraka. There are 8 principal queens, as I mentioned. She is one of the principal queens. After killing Narakasura, Lord Krishna visited the palace of Narakasura accompanied by Satyabhama. Narakasura was a demon. He had kidnapped 16,100 princesses from different provinces, and he was keeping them captive. That unless you submit to me for my enjoyment, I will not release you from captivity. But being chased, they would never submit to him. So they were held in captivity. Now they prayed to Krishna, please rescue us. And sincere prayers were answered by Krishna when he killed this Narkasura and freed all the captive princesses held by Narkasura. Now after they are released, they said, where do we go? What do we do? Nobody will accept us. That's the very culture. Once a girl or a unmarried girl is touched by anybody else, no one else will touch them again. So they were, in that sense, not having any possibility of being married to anyone else. So they appealed to Krishna. You have to give us protection. You have to give us shelter. You have to accept us. And Krishna, out of his kindness, because of their devotion, Krishna accepted them. And he married all the 16,100 princesses. Because he himself was playing the role of a king at Dwaraka. So he accepted them as queens. And they got such an elevated position because of their devotion. And Krishna answering their prayers. So that is being described. So when Krishna went to visit the palace of Narkasura, he was accompanied by Satyabhama. Why? Normally for fighting he doesn't take his queen. Nobody takes the queen for fighting against some enemy. No. But Krishna brought Satyabhama because he had another plan. What was that? He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama after Narkasura was killed. Why? Because Narkasura had stolen the earrings of Aditi. Earrings of Aditi were stolen by Aditi, is the mother of the demigods headed by Indra. So Aditi's earrings were stolen by Narkasura as a mischief. So when Narkasura was killed, Krishna actually got back those earrings of Aditi, and he decided to visit Indraloka along with his wife Satyabhama. So here it is described, Satyabhama, when she went to Indraloka with Krishna, she was received by Chachi Devi, who is the wife of Indra, who introduced her to the mother of the demigods, Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama, and she blessed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on the earth. These are all pastimes of the Lord. That Aditi is giving the blessing of permanent youth as long as Krishna remains on the earth for Satyabhama. Aditi also took Satyabhama with her to show her the special prerogatives of the demigods and the heavenly planets. The standard of living of the demigods is much, millions of times better than the standard of living of the people on the earth. So Aditi took Satyabhama around and showed her what are the special facilities for the residents of Indraloka. When Satyabhama saw the Parijata flower that is unique to the heavenly planet, she desired to have it in her palace at Dwaraka. Now, after the visit to Indraloka, Satyabhama came back to Dwaraka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have the Parijata flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was specially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool as if air conditioned. See, this is the special construction of the Dwarka city by Vishwakarma according to the direction given by Krishna. Krishna personally directed Vishwakarma to construct this Dwarka city underneath the sea, and with all these facilities. Even in the hottest summer, the inside of the palace remained cool as if air conditioned. There was no air conditioning. It was constructed in such a way that it will not get heated up, even in summer. So, she decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Krishna was residing with each of the queens in each of the palaces. 16,108 palaces. 16,108 forms Krishna expanded whenever he would enter the palaces. And he was living there with her, so she had decorated her palace with the flags, different kinds of flags, indicating that I am living with the Supreme Personality of God. For example, the chariot of Krishna, personal chariot of Krishna. On that chariot there is a flag with the symbol of Garuda. So Krishna is called Garuda Dhwaja. He whose chariot is marked, he whose chariot is having the flag marked with the symbol of Garuda. So Garuda Dhwaja. So like that, even the palace in which Satyabhama was staying with Krishna, that palace had many flags, different flags. These flags were marked with different symbols indicating Krishna is residing in this palace. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, who Satyabhama met Draupadi. And Satyabhama was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. See, all these queens of Krishna, all the devotees of Krishna, not only the queens, including the queens, they were very anxious to serve Krishna in the best possible way. So we should also, as devotees of Krishna, aspiring devotees, aspiring to be pure devotees, we should also endeavor to improve our quality of service. And there is no limit to such improvement in the quality of service. That is the spiritual existence. We can keep on improving more and more and more and more and more and more. Ever increasing quality to serve better. So it was Satyabhama's desire, I like to serve Krishna better. And let me ask Draupadi how she serves her husbands. Now it is mentioned here by Prabhupada, Draupadi was expert in this affair of serving her husband because she had kept 5 husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. Somehow, Draupadi married 5 husbands, the 5 Pandavas. Though she was wedded to Arjuna in the Swayamvara ceremony, but when Arjuna went with Draupadi to Kunti, his mother, Kunti said, Arjuna told her, I have brought a gift for you. So then before even seeing what that gift is, or before even discovering the gift, Kunti said, whatever gift you have, please share it with your brothers. So the order came from the mother, and accordingly Draupadi had to be shared with the other 4 Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, by Arjuna, mother's order. So in that way, Draupadi became the wife of all the 5 Pandavas. So Draupadi was specially expert in keeping all the 5 husbands very pleased by her wonderful service. So therefore, on receipt of Draupadi's instructions, how was Draupadi serving her husbands? Same way Satyabhama wanted to serve Krishna, her husband. So when she got the instructions from Draupadi, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwaraka. This is the attitude of the queens of Krishna. Though they are living in very, very, very royal opulence. It is also described elsewhere in the Bhagavatam that these queens, they used to personally attend to Krishna when Krishna is to return to the home after finishing the proceedings in the Sudharma assembly. He would come back home. Then, even though there were thousands and thousands of servants to attend to every single need in the palace, but the queens would not let the attendants to serve Krishna. They would personally attend to every single need of Krishna. They would bathe him, they would dress him, they would tend to his hair, they would give him all kinds of service, feed him. Every single thing which was Krishna's personal need in the palace was attended to personally by the queens as if they were maid servants of Krishna. They are the position of queens and they have thousands of maid servants to attend to every single need, but they would not allow the maid servants to serve Krishna. No, I will personally serve Krishna as a maid servant of Krishna, the maid servant of Krishna. So this is the devotional attitude that's being described here. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.